Hi, I'm Karen Novak, the Administrator for Strategic Healthcare Initiatives at Plymouth Harbor. Today, I have a few guests with us that are going to actually talk about the visitation program going on here at Smith Care Center, as well as the ALF Memory Care Center. As you know, we opened up our visitation station last week, and they're going to give us a report as to how things are going. But first, we have to do the overall COVID update. And I'd love to say it's short and sweet, like I've been saying for quite some time, but unfortunately, we have one staff member who is currently staying at home that did indeed come back positive. She's following all the regs and the rules about keeping isolated at home, and we are monitoring her each and every day by checking on her with a phone call. And she's doing really great. She's totally asymptomatic. So it was a surprise for her to be called in and to be notified that she's positive. I also want to give you an update on our testing that we're doing. Currently, we are entering our last phase of the governor's order for testing our staff every 2 weeks. And now going forward, it's going to be based on the positivity rates here in Sarasota County. And currently, we are at the very lowest end of the scale, which is actually a great thing to be. And we'll be testing the staff members once a month. Until that positivity rate changes. We know that positivity rate goes from 0 to 5%, and you test monthly. From 5 to 10%, you're going to test weekly, and anything above 10% positivity rate in the community, we're going to be testing twice a week. So we're very thankful that we're at that very end of the low end of that spectrum. We learned over the weekend that actually CMS and Curative, which is the company that does the testing for us, has come to an agreement, and they are actually going to continue paying for those tests to be done. So we're very, very excited to hear this news. It's great news for all the facilities across the state. But like I said at the very beginning of the video, I'm joined by two very special people here at Plymouth Harbor. I have Joe DeVore, Senior Vice President of Health Services, and Brandy Burgess, who's the Administrator for the Assisted Living area, which includes the memory care as well. Guys, thank you so much for coming in and being a part of this. We've got some exciting news this past week. I think it's just been filled with so much incredible opportunities for people to reunite. So Brandy, if you don't mind, can you give us an update on how things are going with the assisted living and the memory care?
Well, they're going pretty well, thank you. Day by day, we continue to do our social isolating and our disinfecting and trying to figure out how to have fun within all these new rules. And then last week, we had some wonderful, amazing, life-changing news. So we finally got to put into place some policies and processes in order to get families back together again within all the guidelines and as safe as possible. And everybody's a little nervous, and they just can't even believe that it's happening. But it's just been a wonderful last 7 days, I guess, at this point.
I know some of those families, you had to kind of bring out the Kleenex boxes because they were so excited to see their loved one after 6 months of not being able to do it. You know, there's only so much that Zoom can do for a family or sitting across from a loved one. Can you think of any really one experience that just kind of pops out that you could share with us?
I think the timing was wonderful on a few of them. This has been 6 months. You're right. And I had 3 separate family members email last week before the governor wrote these exceptions to his order, saying, I'm just about to leave town. I'm leaving Friday, I'm leaving Saturday, I'm leaving Sunday after being in this area for months. Is there any possible way I can come and see my mom, my dad, my uncle before I go? And it was such a personal thrill to be able to say, yes, you can come in. And we certainly did stock up on the tissues. 1 box was not enough. We called housekeeping. They filled a closet worth just in case, but there's definitely more laughter than tears right now. I think the most special visit has got to be the couple who's been married well over 60 years who celebrated their anniversary during this, and they celebrated it apart. So for the first time in 6 months, they were able to see each other just a few feet away, and with all the proper distancing there, but still face to face, and to be able to look into each other's eyes. It was just very meaningful, very special. So.
And Joe, we know that doesn't leave the skilled nursing area out at all. The skilled nursing definitely has had not only visitors to visitation station, but they've also had visitors come into the Smith Care Center.
Yeah, and I'd echo everything that Brandy said. It's really been amazing. It's certainly, not without a certain amount of anxiety that we get it right. The governor's mandate has a lot of things that we have to do from a policy and procedure standpoint, but we're absolutely glad to do those. And people, visitors have had they've enjoyed the option of having the visitation station in North Garden second floor, as well as coming in. I think most people are opting for that visitation station, and that is helpful because it's an area that we can keep very pristine. There were some initial issues. I mean, I think primarily sound issues. Those are being resolved. Brandy, I was just up there. I don't know if you saw the microphone and the speaker. Mm-hmm. Now each side of the partition has its own microphone and speaker. And I kind of practiced that with Jason, and it sounds good. It helps resolve some of that echoing issue we had. So if there's been some people that used the visitation station and kind of were not great with the sound, it's improved. So and Jason Redmond is doing a wonderful job of scheduling and being the moderator, providing us with feedback on how we can do things a little bit better. But he's an asset to our staff, and certainly an asset to the visitors that are coming in. So far so good.
And I think I'd like to add to that. I think a majority of our Plymouth Harbor residents are probably very familiar with Jason, who's been doing activities in the Smith Care Center for a number of years. So if you've had a friend or you yourself have graduated from SCC, I'm sure you had a visit from Jason. So you know that that he's going to be there with his compassion, with his oversight to try and make it as pleasant as possible, and then to get it organized so that everybody can come see their loved one at the best time possible. We're so happy he's there.
We have the visitation that's open to the general visitors, where a resident can have 2 people come and visit with them. But we also have those essential caregivers as well as the compassionate caregivers. Joe, we have some residents there in Smith Care Centers whose spouse is over in the independent side. How are those reunions after all this time gone?
Yeah, it's just been wonderful. And of course, it's not just one and done either. There are people that are setting things up for every other day for visitation, and it's just, it's been a long time coming, and it's nice that we have things set up in such a way that it helps protect all the residents and the staff, but gets people in there. So we've gone over the essential caregivers and what that's entailed, and the compassionate caregivers and what that entailed, and the general visitors who have to maintain 6 feet from the resident and wear a mask. But that I haven't heard with the limitations on numbers. There's 2 essential, 2 compassionate, and 5 general. I haven't heard anybody yet that says that that's not enough. So it's a good thing.
It is a great thing, absolutely. Brandy, have you had visitors into your areas like the memory care yet, or the assisted living?
We actually had our first in-person visit on Sunday night, and it was a resident in assisted living who has not seen her son in 6 months, and he'd recently moved to town before all of this, so they'd only had a little period of time to reunite before we kind of closed down. So my nurse, who did the education and the escorting through and donning all the PPE, described the scene to me when he came over to see her in her apartment. Just tears of joy from both of them, and stayed about an hour, and just really felt like a family again. Really able to connect and just feel that warmth. So my nurse, who I would not say is tear filled or overly emotional, certainly cried over this situation. Just the joy of being able to witness such a the reuniting.
Yeah, this whole opportunity, I think, has been wonderful for the residents at Plymouth Harbor. So not to think that we have forgotten about the independence. We have not. We're going to give it a couple of weeks here after Labor Day holiday and kind of take a look at the numbers. I don't know, Joe and Brandy, those beaches looked pretty crowded when I was watching it on the news.
We'll find out. We'll find out soon enough.
Not a lot of them were wearing a mask. So for those that did, we're kind of grateful for that. Summer wanted me to remind everybody before going down to the Wellness Center, if you would please remember to go get screening. Get that screening done and get that armband placed on your arm. Also, if you're not feeling really well, please don't go down to the Wellness Center. She's kind of mentioned that some people have had some coughs. I'm not sure if it's allergy related or just what. But if you're not feeling so great, give us a call here at Home Care or call your primary care doctor. But please don't go down to the Wellness Center. She thanks you for this ahead of time. Joe, Brandy, can you think of anything else that we might have missed?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Well, we're going to close out the session the same way we do each and every time. We're going to remind you to keep that 6-foot distance, physical distance between each other. It's okay to tell someone to back off a little bit. Remember to wash your hands quite frequently during the day. Please remember, most importantly, now, if ever there was a time, to don your mask. Protect yourself, protect your loved ones, and help keep Plymouth Harbor right there at numbers that are absolutely terrific. Okay, thank you so much for your time, Brandy and Joe. You guys made it great.
Yep, our pleasure.
Thank you, Karen.
All right.